finding the type of the variable. You have defined a variable a equal to 10, and do you want to know the type of the variable, how it is stored? So you can do type of a. So then it would give int in the sense it is integer. So let me give some other variable. Again I'll use the same variable, okay, and then give a string. So and let's see the type what it. This is stored as a string, right? So we can get the information of the variable type like by using this type of and variable name inside, which we'll be using in some cases where like if the input is a string, you do some kind of a process, and if it is an integer, you do some other process. So it is you can, and also one more thing you can see here in the Python within the same program. First, like we have assigned an integer to it, and it has stored as integer, and on top of it, like in the same program, we have assigned a string, and it has taken as a string. That's one good thing about most of the scripting languages, is you don't have to define a type of a variable in the beginning. Like if you take in programming language like C, where we define like what is the type of the variable in the beginning, and we store the same type of variable data in that variable. So but that is not the case in condition statements. Maybe you may have come across these in many programming languages and in Python by using if else conditions, right? We call them like if else or if else if. Let's see one example. So you want to in case if you don't want to write some comments, then you have to begin your line with hash. So that would be treated as a comment, and from there, like whatever comes within that line, that wouldn't be considered as a code, and it wouldn't execute. But let me write one if condition. So just like a equal to 10, and I would also give b equal to 20. So I want to know which is a greater number here. Out of a and b, what is greater number? So if a greater than b, a less than b, then a is less than b. And if let's say this is the only condition we are giving, okay, so do you think what would it print? Let's see. I have run it. So it has printed a is less than b. So here in Python, to write if condition, it is like if and then write your condition. So the format is like this. I'll write the format here. So, and also in case we want to write multiple comments, right? So you can, the best way would be to keep 3 quotations, single quotes, or maybe double quotes is also fine, and you write something within it. So, and that won't be treated as a code. You can write like condition 1. If to know that condition has ended and that code block inside the condition starts, you have to put this colon here. This is a syntax here. This colon is there, right? And within it, like you can write your code, maybe line 1, line 2, any how many number of lines you want, you can write like your code. And then in case now let's say that if part is ended and you want to write any else part, okay, so you can write like else and again colon, and you can write code 3, code 4, code 5. So this would be the format of using like if else condition within Python. Here there is only one condition you are checking here. If this condition is true, then you execute these lines, and if the condition is false, if this condition is not satisfied, you execute these lines. So that is what this if else is doing. So but there may be cases where you have multiple conditions. So let's say I am going to give that format. So there is condition 1. If condition 1 is there, then execute these lines. And but if condition 1 is not satisfied, and then you check for some condition 2, and if that is satisfied, you do something else. Okay, let's do that. So that is done using else if, like, but while writing we write it as elif. So this is how we write it, and inside you write your code, maybe the code line 6, maybe one line code here. Okay, so this is how we can write our if else if and else loop. So let's do the same here for these two values. Let me write the possibilities. If else or else if a is greater than b, you can print, and there can be third condition where print both are equal, because if a is not greater than, a is not less than, there is, it means like both are equal. Only in that case like it will be equal. Or else you can write one more if else condition as well, in case if you else if a equal to b, then maybe you write this both are equal, and you don't have to specify else. Like, it is not mandatory that you specify else or maybe if else. You can write only the condition what you need for your use case. Yeah, we got a is less than b. That's true, right? So let me change a value here. A is greater than b. So what it does is, so first it comes here. So a is equal to 100 and less than 20. So 100 less than 20, is it true or not? First it is going to execute that way. So let me do it like this, one condition. So a is less than b, first it would check. Let's run it and see. It is false. So if condition, only if this is true, only then this would execute. So because it is false, it would go into the next, which is else if. So else if, here it would check a is greater than b. A is greater than b, it is true. So that means like this condition is satisfied. So it is going inside this part, and then it is executing this lines of code within this else if. So but here there is only one line of code, so it is executing this. Let's use this type of the variable. So a, I have given Python. I want to know like what is the type of this. You can write if type of a equal to string, then print input is a string. Else if type of a equal to int. So actually these int and string are keywords which can be used directly. It need not be in quotations. Once you type the color code, you can see like if it is just a text or variable, you would get it in a black color font. But in case if there is some kind of a keyword or something, you can figure out, like you can see the type, right? The same way even the string and int are also available. So these are a kind of keyword. You can put your cursor on it and it would show some details. This is available in case of notebook. This you can see it like in Google Colab. In print, the input is a integer, and there may be cases where it is not just like a string or integer, right? It can be float or something. So in that case, let's say like unknown input type. So let's say your program only expects an integer or a string, and but you got something else, okay, and you want to flag that to the user, saying that like, hey, this is not the kind of input I need. So that you can do it like using this kind of a check, right? This a is a type of a, like I gave it a string, so it should be printing this, right? So let's see. I've run it. Yeah, input is a string. So let me do this 100. Let me do this, and if you run, it is an integer. So what should be this? Like someone from audience, what would be the input of this? Like what would it print? String, right? Yeah, exactly. So because we have it in the quotations, so whatever is within the quotations, right? So it quotes, it would be taken as a string. So we can always check type copy and then place it here, right? And you got a string. Yeah. So let me do this way. What would this be? Let's run. Yeah, exactly. It is also a string. Okay. So let's also see a condition where it will not satisfy these two conditions and it will go to else. So let me put, if I run it, it's given as like unknown type, right? So what actually it is because this is a float and it doesn't satisfy a string or this int condition. So that's why we it did not satisfy and it went into else part. So let me do this and run and see. Yes, it is a float. Let's again back to conditional statements later. I would like to introduce you to one of the data types called list in Python. In the sense, it is literally meaning a list of like objects, list of items. It would be denoted with the square brackets here. Here we gave only a single value we are storing inside the variable, right? So instead, if you have some collection of data like which you want to store, let's say I want to store all the names of audience who are attending in this session. So you can store it. I mean, like, and you want to store all of them in one single variable. You can do it using list. So where you can write like maybe equal to Python. So this is one string. You can write like other items separated by using comma after later, and you can write like other strings. Okay, so not just strings, you can use combination of strings, integers as well. I'm not just integers, you can use any other data type which is supported by Python. So let me give 100, some float as well. So it would store these values. Okay, so now can someone of you tell like what is a date type? Like if you put like type of a, what would it come? Would it be like string or an integer or float, or would it be something else? Let's see on this only. Okay, so what would it come? Or would it come like four different, like string, integer, float, in that way, or would it be just doing something else? So first let's see, is it satisfying any of this condition? No, it is not satisfying. So what it would be, let me type and show you. It is taken as a list. So just like string, integer, the type of this would be one new one that is called list. Okay, so if you in case if you want to put an empty list, you can do it like this. Just this would be an empty list. Okay, so it would just store like empty list here. If you okay, come like empty list here. Now let's see like what are the different options available within a list, because storing a variable is okay, but if I want to access like only one of them, or maybe you want to know like how many items are there within that list, we have like certain functionalities within the list. And in case if you want to see what are the different functions available, so you can always do it using dir command. You can use dir and off, like you can give the variable. It would show you a list of various methods which were available within it. Ignore the ones which comes with underscore, but you can look at these. Let's explore each of them. So before all these, let's see how many items are there within that list, and then we'll start with all these. So if you want to know the length of that list, we can use it len of, we got 0 because here we add an empty list, right? So let me run this again, copy this and now run it. So it should give 4, right? 1 2 3 4. There are like 4 different items in this, so we got 4. So same wise, like in case if you want to access your data somewhere, maybe I want to know what is the element in this position, so we can access it by giving the index number of it. Python stores the data in the using the position number, right? So and the position we call it like a number, we call it index, and this index starts from 0. It wouldn't start from 1, it would start from 0. It means like this is 0, this is 1 2 3. If you want to access the first element, so you have to give a of 0. Let me run it. See, we got Python. Similarly, if you want access something like the third element, I want to access this element, So you can give, so this is 0 1 2, right? So you can give a of 2. And there is one more way, like you can always count and then do it. So but in case we want to get the last element, okay, so in this 1 2 3 4, right? So 0 1 2 3. So if you want get the last element, it is a of 3 here. But there is also one more way of doing it, which is a of minus 1. Okay, if you put a of minus 1, it would treat it like this minus 1 will identify that we should look from last, and then but here this is little different from here. Here we start from 0, but from that it is saying that like it is like it would actually look for the last element. So if it is like a of minus 2, it is second element from last. If you put like a of minus 0, that doesn't make sense, because again it is like a of 0 and it would show this, right? So now let's explore what are the different methods available in the list. So like we have saw here is append, clear, all these. So let's see each of them and how it is useful. So let's start with append first. So in append, so what does append do? Let's see. So you can always, in case if you don't know, remember the complete one, I think sometimes like there it would come in suggestion in case if you are typing for some part, and it would show, you can see here, right? So while typing it would show what are the it would try to autofill and suggest you like what is the method, like in Google Colab, and also true with Jupyter Notebook some cases. So and this is like a dot, all the methods we can use it by using dot and then the name of the method. Okay, so and append is one functionality which we can use it to add new item to the list. So here we have list as like this, and if you want to add a new item to this list, you can do it like this. See what it would do. You can see this new string which I added, so it has been added towards the end. So it is going to add the new part towards the end of the list. So let's do one more thing. So this time let's say I have two lists, and similarly I have one more list like p equal to, and what I did is a dot append b. Let me see what is there in here. So you can see here this 1 2 3 is there, and in the last we try to append this list within to this list, right? So this whatever we give inside this variable, so that will be appended to this a. So likewise here we added this OKS, so that has been added to the list. The same way this entire list has been added as a new item here. So now let's can someone of you tell like what is the length of a, what we get as length of a? 5. Okay, let's see. It is 4, because this is 1 2 3, and this entire thing, you can see this entire thing is one single object, like single item. So that would be treated as a single item, so the length is 4. So this is because like this entire thing as a single item, because like it is closed in a bracket, right? You can see, so that complete thing would be treated as a single item. But here like there is no such kind of enclosure, so it would be treated as a separate things, right? So let in case now if you want to access this Python, a of 3 actually would give us this entire thing, right? Or a of minus 1 also, if you do, you would get this entire thing. And now if I want to access only this Python, you can do like a of 3. So this combined is one list now. Okay, this is completely one list. So forget about this a of 3 thing, and now from this list you tell me like how to get this first element. So that is like by using of 0, right? So now do that. So that would give us Python. So this is the way like we can access I mean the list inside a list, and that way. Now we have seen append. The same way, let's look at clear a. What is a? So let's see like what will happen if you do clear. So clear with the name, it says like something, it would clear the items within the list. So let's see. We got a suggestion here, clear, and the way to use is just like empty arguments. Means like just open and close, because clear, obviously clear means just like clearing the things, right? So let's see what a gives. See, it is empty now. So in case if you want to remove all the elements and just like need an empty list like within it, so you can do like this. So but there is also something like you can also do like this, right? So instead of dot tier, you can again reassign with an empty list. You can still get that a as like empty list. So this is also one way, like you don't need a method clear. So same way, let copy is just like copying to a new variable. Let me do count. Count, let's say a, let me, I need something repetitive because we need to count things, right? Okay, so I gave few list of numbers. It need not be numbers, again it can be strings. So I gave list of numbers and I want to use this count method. Yeah, it has suggested, it is saying that count, we take input some value, integer value it would take, and it would return the number of occurrences of the value. So okay, so a dot count. So let me see like count of 3. So it would count like how many occurrences of 3 within this list, and it will give that count value here. So 3 has occurred like 2 times within our list, and we got this count value. Okay, so let me give like one more list, and so a dot count of 20. So we got 3. I gave like a dot count of 100. So I am giving the value which is not available within this list. So it should ideally come 0, right? Yeah, we got 0. And let's see what extend would do. Okay, I gave something like extend with the name. We can say that like it is extending the list, right? This, let me take one more list. Okay, so now I want to use this extend and then give b. I expect both should add to each other. I mean, you can see the difference between append and extend here. In append, it got added completely as a list, right? I was not, sorry, here it got added completely as a list here, right? But if we use extend, it would just add the items, not like a list, but just like another item here. So now let's see the length of a, which would be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? So but like in previous case, the entire thing is treated as one single object, but here if we use extend, it would be treated just like the objects. It would be just added to those, not like a separate item. But most of the cases we would like to extend that list, like in many of the use cases, just like let's say you have an album of like few songs and you want to add a new song to it. So you would be adding in the same level, right? Not like again inside a folder, you create a new folder inside that and then there you add your new song. You would like to add in the same folder. So it's same here. So treat that this is your folder and these items are your songs. Okay, so and in new song you would like to add it to the same folder. So then you can use extend. But in case if you want to create a folder within it, then you can use this append. So treat that analogy, like I think that is a better analogy, I feel. There is also one more way to do it. So let's take the same A and B values. I want to store the, like, instead of modifying this A and B, I want to store combining both the lists and store it in a new list. Then you can use something like A plus B. And then if you run it, still we get the same thing, like, and but it would be stored in a new variable, but A and B would remain untouched. Like, that would still be A is this one and B is this one. It wouldn't change. So this is way, like, where you don't want to modify this A, like, store in a new variable. So this is another way. So let's see what index does. So index is pretty straightforward. Again, you want to know the index of the values here. Okay, so now you want to know the index of where actually programming is coming. So you can copy, you can give that within that arguments, and you would be able to get the index value from there. What it is 1, because 0 1 2, right? So we have programming at 1. So let me give one more. So I would give something like 100. What it would give? We got an error here. It was an error because, like, this 100, what is an error? Let's see. It is a value error. What value error is saying, like, we got this error in this line, a dot index is 100, and it is saying this 100 is not in a list. Yeah, because it is not in a list, so for that we can't use this index. So for that reason we use, like, we got this error. So we should be careful while using this dot index. It should be only to the items which are within the list. Like, if it is not within the list, you should not use this. It would cause an error and break your program. Like, in your program you may be thinking, like, I have used this, and I need to use this dot index, but I need to be sure that, like, that is there in the list. So you can check it by doing this. So you want to know first, like, if this item is in the list, you can check A in A. So this would return false, right? Like, you can this is something we can use, programming in A. So this would give true. So it means there is programming item there in this variable. So yeah, it is there. So it returned true. Okay. So it is going to do this search there, and it would return true or false. So 100, and we can use an if condition, right? We have learned if condition some time ago. So we can use that. So if 100 in A, only then you check for index. Else you print like item doesn't exist. You print this index value. You can store it in something. Index value, I just stored it in one variable, and I'm printing it. And let me print both index position and give like this. Yeah, so we did not get error this time. Instead we got like item did not exist, because it would first go here, check if this item is there in the list. It would we checked, right? It would return false. So as this condition is false, it would go to the next, which is else. So it would print this item doesn't exist. Okay, so now let me do one more thing, just to improvise this. Instead of giving this value directly here, I would store it in a variable and give it the same thing, just that let me define a value b and use it, like, not to repeat every time. And this b value, if I give 100, this is same as this, right? Just that I have stored this in a b, and this b checking it, moving it forward. Let's now do it like programming. It gave doesn't exist. So let's see, because here it is in small case, but I have given capital P, so that's why item did not exist. So now let's have that copy here. So let's see now. Yeah, we got index position is 1. So that is how we can use this index. So insert is something like you want to keep it in certain position. So this would insert would be useful. So a is, as of now, a is something like this. So a dot insert, if you put tab, like you got you can see the document like it is index and then the object, index object before index. So you have to give index first. I want to insert it here, like in between these. So let me give 1 comma, I want to insert, good. Okay, so this is a string I want to insert over there. So let's see what it would do. Yeah, you can see like this insert has added this new item, like which was a string. So at index position 1, so Python which was 0 at 1, like it has added this new item, which is good. And then the rest is moved to one step side. Similarly, like there is remove, where you can remove an item from it. Reverse is something like we can reverse the list, like the order of the list. I mean, so this is like Python program 100 and 100.7. So if you do a dot reverse, so it would be 100.7 100 program Python. The same way sort, let's see this sort. So using sort, actually, let's say you have number, if you use a dot sort, so if you do a dot sort, all these would be sorted in a increasing order. You can see like the smallest first and the next smallest and the next smallest, like here the 10 is repeated twice, so 2 tens and then 20 here. The same way in case if you want it in a descending order, so there is an option. So let's see. Yeah, you can see if we give like something like which is not in a not the keyword which is expected, so it would give this error. It is saying this type error, increasing is not an invalid keyword for sort. So there is no such option like increasing. So it is actually reverse. So let's see this reverse. So it would be like this. So, and if reverse is true, it would display it in decreasing order.